So welcome everyone. This is Andrew Dailey of MGI Research, and welcome to our session, Think Bigger, Move Faster, How Monetization and Analytics Catalyze Atlantech. Our next conversation is with an executive from an industry undergoing a significant amount of fundamental change. It's shifting from a hardware and kind of physical goods and services orientation to much more emphasis on software and services. It's also a business that's an indicator of what the potential post-COVID workplace could look like. And as it relates to billing and monetization, our guest believes that the back office can really be a core enabler of improving customer satisfaction and driving financial performance. So with that as a backdrop, and to put all of this into higher resolution, I'm delighted to be joined by Ed Fineran, President of Atlantech. Welcome, Ed.
Thank you, Andrew. It's good to be here.
So let's first start with your business, Atlantech. Give us a sense of what you guys do and where you guys are today.
Sure. Atlantech Online is a telephone and internet service provider to business and government. We provide telephone service throughout the United States, and we provide fiber and data center services in primarily in the Washington, D.C. region. The telephone service, we have all different types of telephone service, anything a corporation or a government would need. And on the fiber side, we have fiber into over 20,000 buildings in the DC area, in the Washington, DC region, including Northern Virginia and Maryland. And about a little over 200 of those buildings we've pre-lit with fiber. So it's very easy for tenants to get instant access to fiber. We also have 2 data centers just north of Washington, DC, where customers place their equipment. And we've been doing this now for over 25 years.
So you've been pushing the business to, as you say, think bigger and move faster. What does that mean specifically as it relates to your billing and monetization?
Billing really supports our entire business drive in the sense that right from the quoting process, when we use Salesforce to quote all of our customers, and once the customer signs off, the data flows directly from Salesforce into our billing system, and we use a billing system called RevIO. And so immediately it flows into RevIO, and then that kicks off processes to deliver services to the customers. So, and once the services are installed, billing takes over. We're able to support our customers through it. It's tremendous flow to make sure that the business is going strong.
So billing is often considered kind of a back office, a necessary evil, as it were, to business. It's not particularly sexy, and you really have a different view in that you see it as kind of the core backbone of what you do, and the data coming from billing serving a lot of different needs. How did you always think this way? How did you come to kind of that point of view?
This really was crystallized when we won one of the largest school systems in the country about 10 years ago. They had the incumbent telephone service provider in the region, and they have over 300 sites, and they would get a telephone bill each month about the size of a Yellow Pages, and they had no way to analyze that. They brought us not only for better service and less expense, but the billing was so clear, and we could provide them customized forms, which in RevIO is so easy to do with their APIs, that we met a lot of their needs, and the billing person is now thrilled because they are able to get it. So in the telephone industry, billing is huge for customers and be able to understand their bills. So I've seen this for a long time as a way to win business and to keep customers satisfied.
Yeah, and we see that not just in telco, but in every industry now.
I'm sure.
Absolutely. So like many of your peers, many businesses last year you were intensely focused on getting even tighter control over receivables, payables. What did you do specifically to improve in those areas?
So heading into the pandemic, the whole concept of cash flow, accounts receivable, was a nervous time. And so we have analytics tools that tie into RevIO using Microsoft Power BI. And we're very easily able to see a breakdown of our accounts receivable so that our customer service teams can follow up with customers uh, and have insight into what their actions are with regard to that. And a lot of times it was just a matter of communication with customers. So a lot of times people change their email addresses, phone numbers, things like that, and we're able to stay on top of it. People change jobs, so it's really, the tools and being able to connect with customers is pretty key on that. On the payable side, historically for about 24 and a half years, we've been using checks to pay everything. Just a clean way to do it. You pay a check, it's done. For security and also to minimize paper touching during the pandemic, we've switched mostly now to ACH. And that has sped up payments and made the whole thing move a lot easier.
Yeah, I want to go back on one of the things you touched on just a couple minutes ago, which is kind of how you've streamlined the whole order flow from your CRM system all the way through.
Mhm.
Can you kind of describe what the order flow looks like from CRM into billing and then even provisioning?
Sure. So in Salesforce, a lot of companies use Salesforce or a similar CRM. The sales team uses it to pursue customers and opportunities. They identify opportunities, and usually an opportunity has a quote associated with it. Inside the quote, we're able to select products that are in our billing system. So that's where it really ties it together. The specific products, the product catalog in Salesforce matches the product catalog inside of RevIO. And so once the customer signs off, and we use a electronic signing tool, so they sign electronically, the salesperson hits go on the order, and that whole product set that's in the quote flows directly into RevIO, our billing system, which kicks off the ordering process. And we have an installation team that then has tasks associated with each of those items, separate items, so that could have various installs, people working on various installation portions of the order. And then as they get completed, they're converted into billing items in the system. And so they get billed out the following month.
Yeah, let's kind of drill into that a little bit more, even because I know you're in there putting in very high capacity fiber and
Yeah.
networking into office parks where you may be one of multiple providers
Yes.
or where you're replacing many others.
Hmm.
Um, Describe kind of the connection between both order management and the provisioning and deprovisioning of services and how that translates into the bottom line.
I have a good example for you. A little less than a year ago, one of the largest consulting firms in the world was moving into a brand new office building where we were the only service provider with fiber in the building. But they didn't choose us in the beginning because they didn't know us. Well, that other service provider, that other fiber carrier could not deliver. So the day before they were moving in, we called their CIO, said, "How's your move going?" He wanted to place a gigabit per second order immediately. So we sent out the quote through Salesforce. He signed it instantly. I don't even think he read the agreement. And then that flowed right into our system, kicked off an order for our field service team to go to the property on a Saturday to get it installed. So when they moved in on Monday, the CEO of this huge global company had internet access. So that really, having these systems in place sped the order through our various departments. They were able to assign IP addresses, everything that they needed to get it done, automatic notifications of the customer of the details, and it got installed. So having these systems in place ahead of time definitely speeds the cash flow. we're able to immediately bill the customer on a service they ordered on Friday, they were using Monday, able to bill right away. So it's really end to end from both the quote end all the way through the cash side.
And that's all completely touchless. So you've essentially, it sounds like you've eliminated pretty much all paper.
There's no paper in our flow. We used
Yeah.
to have reams of paper, have to pass paper back and forth between departments. We've completely eliminated paper. Everything now is tasks generated from the order, and each of the assigned employees for the various tasks get them done. Sometimes these tasks go between departments, but it's all orchestrated through the Rev.io billing platform.
What, as you look out into 2021 and even beyond, kind of what's on your roadmap from a billing and broader kind of monetization point of view? What are the next things that you want to get done?
Some of the things we want to get done is make sure that our billing product items match up with today's environment. Having the product catalog support our teams better so that the right information is in the right place, because we find that speeds along customer questions when all of the data is in the right place. So some of our product catalog items I think could be better, and there's a project underway right now to get that done. In addition to that, we're going through our analytics tools to make sure that we're able to quickly pull out that same sort of data. So everything's about speed. Speed to support customers, speed to deliver services. So having the right product catalog is key.
Yeah, your customers can have complex environments. You described the school district that's got how many locations? Each location's got a lot of complexity.
Yes.
How do you maintain the view of, kind of as is, what's installed, so that you can understand, what's in place correctly?
That's a complex answer for that, because it's not just the billing system, and the billing system is what I would call the truth holder of the key data. But we have lots of systems that we use, including fiber mapping, so that we know where every strand of fiber is assigned and located and what circuits are associated with them. We also have monitoring tools. So we have tools that check our equipment throughout the footprint every 5 minutes to make sure they're alive. So we're very proactive. And so there's a combination, a tie between what's in the billing system and the monitoring tool to make sure those items are being monitored that are in the billing system. And then we have other data flow and monitoring tools for our phone system. So it's all tied together, but we have many different angles depending on the products and alerting tools just in case there's any problems anywhere in the network.
Got it. As we kind of enter 2021 here, one of the great questions facing every CFO and CEO is, what's the composition of the workforce going to look like? How much is going to be back into an office environment? How much is going to be work from home? You guys have kind of a unique insight into that, and that you see both the networking into buildings, but also as a provider of a lot of the collaboration tools, Microsoft Teams and others, that people are taking advantage of, working from anywhere. How do you think it's going to shake out, not only this year, but as you kind of look forward?
I think there's going to be multiple phases to this. I think the initial phase, we're going to see teams, specific departments coming into the office 2 or 3 times a week and rotating that. There's going to be combinations of certain employees who are just more comfortable being at home. There are a lot of people scared out there today, and some of them are at this point are like, I am not coming back into the office. These are valuable employees, and so you want to keep them hired. So companies are going to have to be flexible. At the same time, a lot of our customers are focused on having their employees back in the office from a management perspective, and they're redesigning their office space. I know that we're doing that right now. We're building neighborhoods in our office building for our various departments so that when they are in the office, everybody knows where everybody's going to be because their employees are going to be in neighborhoods. But at the same time, those neighborhoods may shift depending on which teams are in the office. So it's a lot of hotel aspect to the office space I see in the future. But this is, I think, is only going to last for the next 2 to 3 years. I think in 3-4 years after the pandemic ends, and assuming everything goes smoothly, I think we're going to be heading back to more what we are familiar with office-wise pre-pandemic. We don't see larger customers giving up office space. In fact, in some of our newly fiber-lit buildings, there's some huge office space deals happening today. There's no doubt that office space is going to continue to be very important.
Great. Well, Ed, I'd like to thank you very much for your time here. Thanks for joining us. Ed Fineran, president of Atlantech Online. You'll be around for the networking, I think, later on.
Yeah.
And certainly your details are here available. So hopefully people can reach out, will reach out.
Absolutely.
You guys are expanding nationally. So there's also an opportunity.
Yes.
So with that, thanks everyone for joining us. And I'll give you back your time for the Monetize Forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.